Like literally, I would go to work every day, I'd get on the train, and we had a company bus at the time that took us from the train station to the office, and I would get on that company bus each morning, and there'd be employees of various ages on that bus, and I would look at the middle-aged woman and I'd be thinking to myself like, gosh, is that going to be me in 20-25 years? I just thought like, I need to get out of this. Like I cannot picture myself doing this for the next 2 decades, 3 decades. Like I would feel soulless. I would feel like all of my passion and drive for life would be sucked out of me if I continued pursuing a career that didn't really energize me and light me up. Hey kings and queens, welcome to my channel. So I know a lot of us have been seeing all of those videos on social media of people telling us that they've quit their jobs, they've left the rat race, they've left corporate life, and they're free and ready to explore pastures new. I wanted to come on and share my 2 cents, my experience of quitting my job, because I have quit my job, not my current job, may I say. This was a job that I had about 7 or 6 years ago. Essentially, I wanted just to share my experience and hopefully give you a bit of insight into quitting your job, especially if you are considering that for yourself right now. So let me dive into the details. This was the first place that I worked at after graduating from university. So I studied law at university and I decided to go into human resources, and this was like a major international retail company that I worked for. I was 25 years old, about 3 years after leaving university. The company announced that they were doing a restructure and essentially they'd be reducing headcount, and they announced that they'd be offering all employees voluntary redundancy before they started to look at compulsory redundancies and compulsory headcount reductions that they needed to make. So as soon as I heard that you could choose to leave, and if you chose to leave, you could leave with a package, I was like, this sounds really, really interesting, because at the time, I couldn't envision myself working at this company or any company for that matter into my 40s, 50s, 60s, until I retired. I just couldn't picture myself being or like working in such a busy and demanding job. My job at the time was a HR administrator, so I was right at the beginning of my HR career, and I was trying to establish myself and find my foot, or my feet, should I say. And I really did. Not that I enjoyed my job, more so I enjoyed the people that I worked with compared to enjoying the actual job. The actual job really, really stressed me out because it was really, really fast paced. It was really overwhelming. There were never really down times, and I just went into work every day feeling really stressed and overwhelmed. And I think that's okay for like a short-term basis, but I was in that job for I think like a year and a half, and every day I just felt really stressed. I was actually having counselling sessions on the side in an attempt to reduce all the stress and overwhelm that I was feeling, and I just knew that I could not continue to feel like this long term. There was no way that I would last in this job or in a similar job for the next 10, 15, 20 years. And that's why I started to think about, okay, what are my alternatives here? I knew that leaving was probably going to happen at some point, but this voluntary redundancy opportunity definitely was just like, okay, I need to grab this opportunity. That's where my head was at that time. And also I was listening to a lot of like online coaches and online motivational speakers at the time on social media, so I was like drenching my mind every day with people telling me that you can do it, you can chase your dreams, you can chase your passion, you can be whatever you want to be, you can set up your own business and be really successful. So I had lots of like encouragement and coaching via like online, I guess, social influencers at the time, telling me that, chase your dreams, take risks, take action, and just chase after your dreams. And my dream at that time was not actually to work in HR, even though that was like what I had studied after university and what my corporate dream was. My actual passion or my dream at that time was to start my own coaching business. And before my company announced the restructure, the reorg, I was thinking, like, how can I start my own coaching business? How can I become an entrepreneur and start my own business? How would I fund this? Like, I really wanted just to take a leap of faith and launch my own business, start my own business, but I knew I didn't have the funds, and because I didn't have the funds, my dream didn't seem possible. So when my company announced that they were offering people voluntary redundancy and you'd be able to leave with a package of money, I was like, okay, this must be God telling me, Rachel, go for your dreams, you can do it. I just felt like this was God telling me to go for it. And so yeah, I did apply for the voluntary redundancy, and the company accepted my request, and I was able to leave that company with a package of, I believe, like between 6 months to a year's worth of salary. Can't remember exactly how much I left with, but it was definitely a great package, and it meant that I was actually able to be self-employed. I registered to be self-employed, got myself an accountant, set up my own coaching business, but it meant that I was able to survive by myself without having to work for someone else for just under a year. So I left with a really good, in really good financial standing, as it were. And yeah, I quit my job. That is how I quit my job. And I've been thinking, like, reflecting and looking back as to, do I regret that decision now? Because at the moment I'm not still self-employed. I am working for an organisation. I'm back in human resources, and it's about 7 years later, give or take. And to be honest, when I look back, there are parts of me that regret making the decision to quit my job, but then there are other parts that think, you know what, it was kind of like a once in a lifetime opportunity, and I was so young, and well done for taking such a leap of faith and just chasing after your dreams. And although my dreams didn't really work out, and I will explain in future videos why my coaching business didn't succeed and why I had to return to the corporate rat race, but just reflecting on my decision to quit my job, because I was really, I guess, unhappy with where I was at in my career at the time, i.e. I was really stressed, I felt overwhelmed. Literally, I would go to work every day, I'd get on the train, and we had a company bus at the time that took us from the train station to the office, and I would get on that company bus each morning, and there'd be employees of various ages on that bus, and I would look at the middle-aged women, and I'd be thinking to myself, like, gosh, is that going to be me in 20-25 years? I really hoped and prayed to God that that would not be me when I was like 50 odd years old. And I just thought, like, I need to get out of this. Like, I cannot picture myself doing this for the next 2 decades, 3 decades. Like, I would feel soulless. I would feel like all of my passion and drive for life will be sucked out of me if I continued in this kind of, like, not corporate rat race, but just pursuing a career that didn't really energize me and light me up. So that is the reason why I decided to quit my job, and I had the vision of at the time that I would start my own business. And I think if I could give any words of advice to you, if you're at the stage where you're thinking about quitting your job, perhaps you're seeing so many people making videos on social media about, I'm quitting my job, you know, what's the phrase about labour, no one dreams of labour, or whatever it is. I would definitely say don't quit unless you have a plan in place, and not only a plan of what you are going to do with your time once you quit your job, but also a financial plan. A lot of people come on social media and announce they've quit their job or they're quitting their job, but they don't go into the detail about how they're going to support themselves financially once they quit their jobs. And it's a real world out here. We have bills to pay. You know, luckily I didn't have any kids, I didn't have a mortgage at that time, so I was just renting a room in a house share. But we all have bills to pay. Even if you live with your parents, you're probably contributing to rent. You need to feed yourself, you need to travel from time to time. So you need some kind of income or money to support yourself after you quit your job. So think about that. And I would also just say, don't be pressurized by all these people that you're seeing online, you know, announcing that they're quitting their jobs, and they're just waking up at like 11 a.m. each day and setting their own diaries and schedules and doing whatever, because once you quit your job, you are going to be by yourself. Like, I remember, like, I think it was the first day after I quit my job when I woke up not having to rush to get ready to go to work, and I was thinking, like, although I had the plan of, yeah, I'm going to be working on my coaching business, but the difference hit me, like, I'm really on my own now, and I've got to bring in that money, and it does place a lot of pressure on you to start bringing in that money and, you know, getting clients or getting customers. So just try and be prepared for that as much as possible. And I know you probably feel like, I am prepared for this, I've thought about it so much, I'm ready, I'm sure this is what I need or want to do. But just go in with both eyes wide open. Don't let everyone's glitzy, rosy stories on social media make you think that this is going to be a very easy process, because it probably won't be, unless you have people who are helping you financially or whatever. So do I regret quitting my job at the age of 23 or 25, should I say? I don't regret it, even though it was quite a tough year, and again, I will explain about the coaching business that I set up in a later video. I don't regret it, because that experience, it did teach me a lot. It taught me that I can make money by myself. I did get a couple of coaching clients during that year, and I was able to make a small amount of money, and then, you know, if I was able to keep that business open for a longer period, who knows what I could have achieved with it. So it's good to be able to prove to yourself that yes, you can actually, you know, make your dreams come into existence and create something yourself and create your own income stream. And it's also, it's definitely a huge confidence booster as well, knowing that you've gone it alone and you've set up an organization and you've brought in your own clients, your own customers, and you've created a business plan and a structure and all of that stuff that you probably would never do if you just stayed working as a full-time employee. So it definitely teaches you a whole lot of life lessons and skills that you probably would never gain otherwise. But it's difficult. It is really difficult. And what I probably would say is that if this is something that is really burning deep within you, like you have a passion or a dream of setting up a business or doing something completely different, and no matter what you do, that dream, that desire, that goal just doesn't go away. It's always at the back of your mind. You think about it every day. You know, it's just within you. Sometimes you just have to attend to that dream and just do it and just experience it and almost like get it out of your system almost, so that you can focus on other things. And who knows, your dream, your business, it may become successful. You may be able to sustain yourself full-time, long-term on that business, but it may not work as well. So you've just got to prepare yourself for both eventualities and be really realistic with yourself and not be too harsh on yourself as well. Like, sometimes things don't work out and that's okay, you know. Just try and do this for the experience and not only for making money and becoming this six-figure bestseller coach or entrepreneur, whatever it is. You know, sometimes we just have to do things because of the experience and because you need to just test something out and give yourself a chance to succeed. Like, if you never do this, you will never know if your dream or your business will be successful. So sometimes it is just a matter of testing things out and giving yourself the opportunity to be successful despite what other people may be telling you. So that is I guess a very quick summary or like story time of when I quit my business or when I quit my full-time job back in 2015. It's 7 years later. I think it's always good to reflect in life and just think about just reflect so you can like move forward stronger and wiser. Let me know if you found this story time helpful in any way, if you learnt anything, if you have any takeaways. Also leave in the comments below if you've been thinking about quitting your job, you know, starting your own business or doing something radical. Let me know in the comments. It'll be really good to hear your story and what you're thinking about. And definitely like this video if you enjoyed it, share it with your friends and family, and also subscribe to the channel for more adulting videos like this. I'll love you and leave you. Take care and God bless.